Hello everyone. We want you to be with us for 30 minutes so that we can go to 2017 together. Let us tell you about 8 years of hardships and happy moments of your life. Welcome to our story.
This is 6,000 square meter plot of land with a high soil salinity percentage. As we mentioned in our previous video, it is a great place to build a poultry farm. First, we laid out the plan of the poultry house hole on the ground, and we went down to a depth of 70 cm for reinforcement. At the same time, we also drew the plan of the warehouse, the pent bascule, and the house to do their reinforcement. On a foggy winter day, we started concreting the foundation of the poultry house at 8 a.m. and it lasted until 9 p.m. Now we move on to the space for the pond bascule. The dimension of the 50-ton pond bascule are 3 meters wide by 9 meters long. And the reason we start building this space yearly is to use this space to store water for construction purposes. Then we built a large 8-meter-long bridge for heavy vehicles to pass into the farm. The shed frame arrived and the installer started installing it. The poultry house is 2 stories high, so we have a column in the middle of the shed on the ground floor. After installing the shed, the equipment need for construction increased, so we started building a warehouse so that we could store tools and equipment in the warehouse to prevent moisture, rain, and theft. Then we went to the implementation of the roof of the shed and the work on the poultry house started. You can see the walling of the ground floor and the concreting of the first floor. After the initial concrete, we placed unit and did the final concrete. Use sound and heat insulation blocks to use less energy to cool and heat the salon. Creating a roadside ditch is one of the most important tasks outside the enclosure to prevent stagnant water from accumulating, as this water causes germs to grow near the poultry house. After finishing the wall of the salon, we ceramized 60 centimeters below the wall so that it would be easier from use to wash and the chicken manure would not block on the walls. We also apply a layer of stone powder on the blocks so that we can wash the salon in the best way possible and so that there are no seams in the walls. After several months of working on the farm, we finally received permission to build the enclosure wall and began implementing it. The entrance door to the poultry farm is 8 meters long and opens and closes in a sliding manner so that any car of any height can easily enter the area. We fenced off the west side of the land to create another poultry house in the future. I introduce you to Kular and Virgul, the little ones who are supposed to be the guardians of the farm. We use 1.5 cm stone to cover the outer walls of the poultry house, warehouse and house, which is considered an excellent insulator. We started with the warehouse first, and after finishing the work, we were amazed by the beauty of the work. After that, we went to the poultry farm and spent 3 months covering the wall with a stone. We also built the first floor evacuation stairs so that welding could be done before the stone was installed. Three-phase electricity also arrived with a 100 kVA transformer, and we were relieved of the diesel generator and its problems. With the arrival of electricity, we started building the frame of the house, and with the installation of the metal pillars of the house, a spring arrived. We put the building's beams in place, and after placing the monoliths and attaching the reinforcement, we poured concrete for the roofs of the house. You see how quickly Kular and Virgul grew up. We used clay blocks for the house and the work was progressing quickly. After finishing the bricklaying, we did the electricity and water piping in order to do the final concrete of the floor. You can see the wall of the courtyard above the house, about 70 centimeters high. Now we move on to concreting the floor of the ground floor salon. First we paired to a stone and tamped the well, and then we started pouring the concrete. After that, we covered the floor with stone powder to give us a completely smooth surface. These costs are only for high friction washing and to use less water in washing. Gas was also brought to the poultry farm. The gas pipes were buried 1.5 meters underground and gas valves were installed. After numerous tests, the work was completed and we started the internal gas piping. One of our problems was water pooling in the ground, and we use a canal in the middle of the garden for drainage, so that no water remained in the ground, so that we could start planting trees in the garden. Now it's time to implement the chicken evacuation stairs on the first floor of the salon and a large platform to increase the speed of chicken evacuation, which can be seen in the previous video on how to evacuate chickens. At the beginning of the poultry house, we created a small room to store the necessary equipment. And we also built a toilet and bathroom so that the workers could enter the poultry house with cleanliness. Four times of power outages, a 100 kilowatt diesel generator is needed. We fixed its place and fixed the diesel generator in its place. Now we built a platform for the water storage source to place the 10,000 liter source on, and we covered it with a wall to prevent the water temperature from rising. We went to the house again to perform a stone coating and also ceramicize the floor of the building and bathroom. After the ceramic floor was finished, the interior wall plastering was carried out. Then we started covering the floor and walls of the balcony of the house. First, we insulated the floor to prevent water from entering, and then we covered the floor and walls with stone. You can see the implementation of the septic system of the house, and after then, the walk around the house was performed, and after then, we did the stone coating of the stairs and the floor. Now we covered the roof of the house with canopy, and did other small works of the building that you can't see. Kular and Virgul gave birth to many beautiful children, which made us very happy. 6 small and cute puppies. We went back to the warehouse to reinforce its floor so that it could withstand heavy machinery. First, we removed 1 meter of soil from the floor and replaced it with stone. Then we poured the initial concrete on the floor and covered it with nylon to prevent mosca. Then we installed the reinforcement and poured the final concrete. We are preparing to install the pond bascule. This is very difficult and sensitive task. After installing the pond bascule, we constructed the entrance path based on the plan and poured concrete around and in front of the farm entrance. Then we separated the garden from the path to the poultry house with a retaining wall, so that the garden soil would not enter the path to the poultry house. It's time to install the salon equipment. First, let's start with the inlets, the small windows that provide air entry into the salon. The dimension of the inlets are 30 cm wide by 110 cm long, and there are 26 inlets in each salon. After that, we put the fans in their place. The construction was so good that we were able to easily put the fans in their place. Now it's time to make cooling pad windows that can be used to cool the salon in the summer. We designed and implemented the windows ourselves, and the result was excellent. You can see them opening and closing in the previous video. But things don't always go according to plan. In February 2021, a severe storm hit the farm during a storm surge, causing damage, with about 30 meters of the farm wall collapsing due to the storm and delaying work by about a month. We rebuilt the wall and created the metal retaining to prevent this from happening again. Other poultry equipment arrived and work started again. On the other hand, the tree planet season also arrived and we planned for that as well. It took 5 days to install the equipment and energy returned to the farm. It was really good moment and we were getting closer to the end of the work every moment. We also prepared the tree holes and planted 300 pomegranate trees in the garden within 8 days. Pond bascule installer also came, calibrated and set up the pond bascule and performed the tests. Then we went to complete the water supply to the poultry house and all parts of the farm. We installed plumbing to drain water from the tanker outside the farm into the reservoir to prevent management issues with the water tanker entering when there are chickens on the farm, so that it does not bring contamination to the farm. Four times when we want to give chicken vitamins, medicine or vaccines, we need a separate water tank. For this purpose, a 500-liter tank was installed for each salon. Now the thought about transferring feed from the warehouse to the poultry house and installed a route for it. Created a feed tank in the warehouse and also implemented a feed transfer line into the hoppers. We need dividers to define the chicken's space in the salon. We used metal material and netting for that, and painted the yellow to match the salon. To get to the first floor of the poultry house, we needed a lift that could hold a maximum weight of 100 kilos. As you can see, it was beautifully executed. You can see us using it in previous videos. The final work that remained was to install jet heaters to heat the salon for the chicks to enter. You can see the farm's main electrical panel, which has ability to switch to diesel during a power outage and forms the heart of the farm. These are the panels of fans and feeders, which we use duct to connect the wires to the equipment. Four analog cameras were installed in each salon, so that we could always monitor the salon to prevent unexpected events. You see the ready-made chickens breeding salon. We have tested all the equipment, and after 5 years of relentless effort, we are counting down the minutes to raising chickens. We will never forget the day the chicks arrived. We cannot describe to you how we felt. It was truly a delightful moment, filled with joy and tears of joy. But it didn't take long problems to appear, not one or two, but countless problems. First, the drink regulator started to leak, then some of the feeder pulleys broke. The feeder line collector failed, the feeders cracked and separated from the line. The feeder sensor was not working properly. One of the jet heaters started giving an error, and in disbelief, during the first power outage that occurred, the motor of 7 of the salon's fans burned out, and a fire occurred in the salon's main panel. But despite all these problems, we somehow managed to get the chicken to the ideal weight and sold it. We were very tired after the evacuation, and on the other hand, we were proud of ourselves of our resilience in finishing the first period. Now it was time to fix the problems. The feed tank was small, so we increased its volume and installed a lift to pour feed into the feed tank. We complained to the feeder and water factory about the poor quality of the equipment, and they were forced to replace the equipment. On the other hand, we decided to install a PLC system for the salon, and since our field is electricity, we replaced and strengthened all the salon's panels, and from here on, the entire farm system will be controlled by HMI, as you can see in the previous video. We replaced the useless sensor in the feeder with capacitive sensors and installed shelves in the farm's warehouse for accessories and spare parts to keep things organized. We also purchased tanks for diesel, a 500-liter one in the engine room and a 3,000-liter one in the yard. Pulled all the cable out of the ground and ran them through the pipe to prevent damage to them. And we also increased the cable size by 2 sizes. We also replaced IP cameras with analog cameras. Then we move on to installing the cooling pad, and we must thank the welder for creating this work of art and with high efficiency. You can see how the cooling pad work in previous video. After that, we bought a connex for the workers to have a place for their clothes and equipment. Other things were done that you can't see. We started raising chicken again and solved our problem every time. And now there are no major problems that challenge us. But if they happen, we are fully prepared for them. After a few years, we realized the factory feed was increasing our cost. So we decided to produce the feed ourselves. So we installed a mill and mixer and since then, we have been making our own chicken feed. You can see this in previous video. Since the first breeding, we have bred 17 courses and we are happy to share this moment with you. Thank you for giving us your time and wait for more exciting video from us. Don't forget to support us.